Hello everyone, I'm Nekita, and welcome back to Pikmin 2. In the last episode, we completed our first day in the Awakening Wood, completed a couple caves, discovered white Pikmin, and now we're going to the next area that we unlocked by collecting the second half of the survey chart, the Perplexing Pool. And this is officially the point where my skill goes down the drain, because the first 3 days, I would say, are the easy parts. The Perplexing Pool, on the other hand, it gets a little complicated. There's a lot to do, and not a lot that we can do right now. To start, well... Good morning. The white Pikmin are lodged with the purple ones in my hall. The two types are sleeping well, and do not quarrel. I have made them most comfortable. You can call out the white Pikmin by standing in the light beneath me and pressing A. On a separate note, be wary of overworking yourselves. Taking a break can be courageous too. To retire early for the day, press Start/Pause to access the radar screen, then press R. We will not be doing that because we have a lot of work to do. This whole section takes a while, and it can be a little spooky, so we're not going to worry about it right now. We're going to take out about 10 of our white Pikmin, 10 of our purple Pikmin, and 10 of our red Pikmin. And curiously enough, purple Pikmin are going to be kind of our fighters for a while. But it's not going to be that weird based on the experiences that we had in the Awakening Wood. You're just going to see them a lot more. Look! Off in the distance! Wild Pikmin! Can you see them, Captain Olimar? They are yellow Pikmin. You encountered them when you crashed on this planet, correct? It would be most helpful if they remember you, like the red ones did. Yes, most helpful. We will get to that in a moment because we are going to have to deal with some very carefully planned enemies, like this yellow Wollywog. I'm surprised I did not lose any Pikmin to that. Yellow Wollywog has a really interesting hitbox, to say the least, so sometimes your Pikmin can be crushed by it landing, sometimes they won't. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. My sensors are giving out foreboding signals. These signals could very well mean that this hole is filled with wretched, nasty bugs. Vicious, program-terminating bugs. And so we go into the first cave of Perplexing Pool, the Citadel of Spiders. You may notice that there are electrical hazards in this. It is surprisingly not recommended to go into this cave without yellow Pikmin. But if you want to get through this whole section a little faster and a little more optimized, without cutting into your major workflow, then it's a good idea to just go into the Citadel of Spiders without yellow Pikmin. Sub-level 1. There's going to be a lot to figure out here. First things first, not all paths are dead ends. Some shearwigs. Good start. And some skitter leaves. Shearwigs can be really deceptive, and I'm always a little bit nervous about them. But they shouldn't be... Oh. Well, now they're a concern. These enemies notoriously had really weird invulnerability, where sometimes they would be completely invulnerable while they killed one of your Pikmin in the first game. And they're just a nightmare to deal with. So, getting them out of the way is honestly good for us. Our first treasure. There are 11 treasures in this cave, and I have to track them because it's really easy to overlook one of them. I could be kind of taking my time and really sit down and talk about all the details of this game in one fell swoop, but the big selling point I feel about Pikmin 2, or just any Pikmin game in general, is that they are all about time management and being efficient. So if I play about as efficiently as I possibly can, then it's going to look a lot different than what your best possible efficiency will be in your own playthroughs if you decide to pick this game up on the Switch. And you may also notice that there are a lot of distinct changes, especially with treasure textures, and I've made notes of that whenever there are distinct changes, especially regional, because the amount of treasure differences in this game is insane. There are differences between all 3 regions of the GameCube version, differences in the Wii version, as well as differences in the regional versions of the Switch releases as well. And I think that's very important to pay attention to sometimes. We have some new enemies to deal with, and it's going to basically dictate the fact that we're only going to be bringing reds for a while. These are Dweevils, and they're sort of these 4-legged spider-looking things. And they will, as you can no doubt tell from the Dweevil in the background, they have a... Oh, that's actually very dead. Well, it didn't take that long for us to actually lose Pikmin. That's a shame. Although I did swarm them in that time, so that's mostly my fault. This is... I actually forgot the name of this Dweevil. I think it's just a fiery Dweevil. But they will immediately go to any treasure or any enemy corpse. And try to pick it up and use it as sort of a disguise. Oh, there's our next treasure. And when they get panicked by being attacked, they start to sort of flare up and will let out whatever their corresponding element is. So these ones are fire, as you can tell by the red shell. But all Dweevils will do that sort of explosion with their corresponding element, so they can be really spooky. Go ahead and grab this bottle cap, these Wollywogs. Okay. We only lost 2 Pikmin this floor. That could be a lot worse. I think what's more impressive about Pikmin 2 playthroughs, especially by extremely skilled players, are deathless runs. And deathless runs are expected. Oh, there's a partially buried object here. You need to set that up. Now, Lip Surface has an interesting bit of history. It was changed to be more interesting. If I remember correctly, the original treasure in the Japan version was just a popsicle stick. Things falling from ceilings. Always be ready. Okay, so I think that's the last treasure of this area, but I'm just gonna check a couple of these. Corridors. That just leads back to the treasure ship. We'll wait on the signal to die out. Paradoxical Enigma. Okay, we're good. On to the next floor. So, these two caves are not terrible. It will be a little interesting to see what experience we get in the next, I'd say, 4 or 5 caves, because those are the ones that really start ramping things up based on the order of progression. Alright, this is the sub-level where we start needing to be worried about electrical hazards, because those little critters running around are not just for show. These are anode beetles. And once they start to spark up, they associate their spark up with other anode beetles in the map and create a whole line of electricity. Which, obviously, not that terrifying right now because we haven't seen it in action. Here it comes. Yeah, that right there, that interaction is immediately fatal. Like, Pikmin will be vaporized. So, I'm gonna wait on these guys to activate. Okay. They didn't activate, but... That's spooky, because it can connect with just about any anode beetle in sight. And there could be an anode beetle, like, in the next room that I didn't notice, and it would just murk. It would just murk my Pikmin. I also noticed that I had a white Pikmin in there, so that could have been just as devastating. That's what you get for not looking, I guess. Fortunately, in caves, all of the sort of walls that you have to deal with are weakened. They take less time to deal with. Just go ahead and take... Okay, this room... This room is, spooky. But as long as we take them out one at a time... Okay, that one was charging up, so that could have been really bad. You have to be a little precise, because you can't just throw them directly on top of where the anode beetle is. You have to kind of predict where it's going to go. It may be a slow-moving creature, but it does have some range. Go ahead and just grab that treasure. We'll switch back to Olimar. I'll just give them the full 5. And then there's a buried treasure here, which is why we brought the white Pikmin with us. This is a treasure you can very easily miss just by not bringing white Pikmin. It's one of those situations that keeps you on your toes. Got our second treasure, and then we have... Or no, this is our first treasure of this floor. The Patience Tester. Okay. We should be able to bring all of our Pikmin with us just because it's not going to be super scary right now. And we have no white Pikmin working on this cave, on this wall, so it was effectively worthless to do that early. Oh no, apparently we have one. Okay. Sure, I'll take it. Maybe I had one in the spot I had. Oh yeah, because I probably had one earlier. It's really hard to keep track of so many creatures. this should be our second treasure. The bottom half of a seashell. I think we're done here. We'll just wait patiently for that treasure to be delivered and see if we're done. Yeah, Louis? I'm just kind of waiting here. Alright. Whatever. Always a bit of a conversationalist when he's not... when the guy who's doing all the work isn't doing all the work. The memorial shell. And we're done. Okay. So far, only losing 2 Pikmin to a yellow Wollywog is pretty par for the course. Just because yellow Wollywogs are a mess. Especially when just trying to deal with them normally, they're a mess. But sub-level 4... Let's combine a lot of very scary enemies with some very scary hazard placements. And just see what sticks. We're gonna start with this ivory candy pop bud just because we do need more poison Pikmin. It'll help streamline a bit of a later process. That's only through 6, but that's fine. I'm gonna leave this here. I'm gonna take these purple Pikmin to deal with this water dumple. So, as I mentioned, purple Pikmin are really, really good if you need to deal with any potentially really scary enemies with really fast eating speeds. Water Dumples have a fairly high eating speed. They only take 2 chews to actually kill Pikmin. And that's something I didn't really touch on when we were dealing with the water bulb, or the red bulborb in Valley of Repose in the first episode, is that the red bulborb has 3 chews and then the Pikmin is killed. That is a Hermit Crawmad, and they are also spooky because they only lunge when you reach a certain distance. And you kind of have to redirect your Pikmin to keep them from getting grabbed by it. Okay, while all that's going on... there has to be a treasure this way. There is, because there's a Hermit Crawmad there. Actually, we got one from a Hermit Crawmad already. Okay. I want to say there's 3 treasures here. I'm not too sure. The King of Sweets. Yeah, we'll do 9 on that one. I'm not too worried about being effective with numbers right now. But there is still a treasure on this floor. And I'm assuming... yeah, it's behind this Hermit Crawmad. Okay. Yeah, and then there's a water dumple here, and a water dumple over there. So this is officially where our purple Pikmin come into play. I'm gonna wait for this cutscene to play out, because that's gonna interrupt me in my throw. Oh, a little locket with a puppy in it. The time capsule. Strangely, in the Japanese version, that's a picture of a cat. I don't know why they changed it, but I guess it's just because cats are more popular in Japan. But cats are pretty popular here, too, so I don't necessarily know the reason why they would do that. Okay. Dealing with water dumples in general can be spooky. Yeah. That. Some Bowser-branded... some Bowser-branded matches. that should be that is the last treasure of this map, hopefully. But just in case, I'm going to take Olimar 2. Oh no, that's a black bramble. I need the Pikmin. Yeah, Bowser Breath brand. 555 Troopas. The Flame of Tomorrow. I think in Japan that one is just like a regular box of matches. Which admittedly I kind of prefer the more Nintendo-ized Matchbox look. As much as they were trying to go for like the real world sort of simulant. I think it's more interesting that they tried to make a Nintendo-style, like, joke brand of matches. Okay. Done on this floor. Now into sub-level 5. Sub-level 5. This is one of those fixed rooms again. So what makes the Citadel of Spiders interesting is that they tell you that you messed up. In sub-level 3, there's a buried treasure. And if you didn't bring any white Pikmin, that'd just be that. You didn't have white Pikmin to get the object unburied. But it gets a little funnier than that. In sub-level 4, there was the Ivory Candy Pop button, and in sub-level 5, there is yet another buried treasure. So they intentionally give you a treasure to find after you've used the Ivory Candy Pop bud, but expect you to have brought in white Pikmin anyways. And that's one of the few but wonderful examples of just how often this game kind of messes with you. So I'm not going to take that treasure in yet, because we're about to fight the boss of this cave, the Citadel of Spiders, and if you're a veteran of Pikmin, you know this one quite well. This is the beady Longlegs. It can trample Pikmin with its feet, but after a certain amount of steps, it'll sort of drop its body down to rest, and then you can throw Pikmin up here. If I brought yellow Pikmin, this fight would go by a lot easier, but because I also brought a small squad of red Pikmin, it's not too difficult to sort of herd them in the direct middle of this boss. Just because Seed Stick Swarming gives you an immense amount of control over your Pikmin squad, that it makes this boss fairly trivial. So now, while that treasure is being delivered, I can get that treasure that we picked up earlier delivered because we're done. The beady Longlegs disintegrates, and now we have a key. Just a key. Sweet victory! That giant insect's body has crumbled to dust. I am quite relieved to know I won't have to store such an enormous bug. Analyzing soil samples. Anomaly detected. What is that glittering widget? Well, it looks like a key from Super Mario World, so it can't possibly be bad. The Regal Diamond. Now, if I got my treasure count correct, that should be... that should be all 11 treasures of this area. But you can't check and see what treasures you got. Sadly. Not until we're done with this cave. The key. Yes, good. This object seems familiar. I will combine it with the President's parallel dimension controller. Alert! Sensors indicate a massive dimensional shift at a distant location. I'm receiving a message from a far-flung dimension. Displaying the message now. Challenge mode can now be accessed from the title screen. It appears to be total gibberish. Hopefully, the message has reached its intended recipient. I will name this apparently worthless device the key. So this apparently worthless device to the Hookitations is a wonderful device for us, because challenge mode is going to be a very fun thing that we will be tackling at the end of this playthrough. And if I can get away with it, I want to do all of them. Challenge mode is basically just more caves. There are 30 challenge stages in total, and there is a reward for beating all of them without losing any Pikmin. So, we'll see when we get there. But it's going to be a grind, nonetheless. We're good, 11 of 11. And we only lost 2 Pikmin, so, you know, it could be worse. Alright, well, if you thought that doing one cave was the easy part, you have another think coming, because this section is where things get a little interesting. So first things first, we have to consolidate our units. We're going to have very little time to figure this stuff out. But we just have to hurry up. And having Leaf Pikmin to wait on is going to be kind of difficult. So we have to do a mix of a couple things. We have to get a lot of our numbers up for the yellow Pikmin. And we also have to get a couple of treasures that are sort of in between the onions, or the landing site, and, well, where we are, and where we need to be. So having a shortcut really early on helps truncate a lot of the process, and we need to get that done. So while this is being built, we're going to prepare a couple of things. It's gonna be a little dicey, but we'll figure it out. Whoop. These are shear wigs. Nothing purple Pikmin can't fix. Sort of our protectors. And our first little opponent that we have to deal with. I'm going to prioritize opening up these eggs first, just to see if I can get some nectar, or maybe even a spray. Okay, that's, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it. I can't get it right now, but I will set up Olimar for that. This guy. I will set up Olimar for that. I'm going to show you a cool trick that you can do with these sprays. It is a trick that you can do in all versions of the game as far as I'm aware. Oh, that's actually horrible. I got beat up pretty bad, but could be worse, I guess. This fiery Bulblax needs to get out of the way, though. Okay, the white Pikmin are going to be dealing with that, and in the meantime, I'm going to try to get this spray. So, anytime that a spray drop happens, if you push one of your captains over to it, when this cutscene isn't happening, the red liquid you see contains refined ultra-spicy essence. 1 drop contains 1 dose. Press down on the D-pad to spray this extract on your entire group. So if you push any of your captains into it when they're not being controlled, they will start to collect it as if they are a player character. And if you walk into it as well, you get twice as many sprays. So having spray dupe like that is honestly really helpful. And I just can't do anything right now. I legitimately can't do anything because I am at the mercy of water and I'm at the mercy of electricity. So we're just gonna do some idle work. What is this? A strange mold-like botanical entity has spread across the ground here. Interesting. I am detecting other plant life suffocating beneath it. So this mold appears after a certain amount of uses, I think, with the... depending on how many times you use burgeoning spiderworts, this mold will appear. But I also think the enemies that do appear starting on day 4 also have something to do with it. So it's going to take legitimately half the day to get this bridge down. Actually, there is something I can do to help reduce the amount of time needed for this process. Having purple Pikmin be able to do that is super helpful. I don't know if they're going to be getting any sprays, though, unfortunately. And there's just going to be a lot of waiting in Perplexing Pool just for this, like, one puzzle. And it's not going to get any easier with the other caves. Because both of the caves require water Pikmin to do so. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done on completely opposite sides of the map. So, we'll see. We'll see when we get there. Okay, that's done. Alright, and here we go. Time for our 4th Pikmin species. The yellow Pikmin have climbed down the tree and are staring in this direction. They appear to like high places and seem to be quite light. They also have very large ears. If I had named them, they would be called ear Pikmin, but... Whew. That's embarrassing. But I will use the name Olimar gave them. Curious. My static electricity sensors are reacting violently. What could this mean? Alright, now it's go time. Now it's extremely go time. Because half the day is over. So as you can see, yellow Pikmin fly really, really far, and they are also immune to electricity, as you've no doubt noticed from the main dilemma that we have to deal with. There are 2 electric gates that we have to consider immediately. And one of them I don't think we're gonna be getting done in this day. Ideally, we could get it set up, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So as it stands right now, we are just boosting the numbers to whatever our current, like, max is. And try to get as many yellow Pikmin ready as possible. As you can see, flower white Pikmin carry stuff really, really fast. So they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. Are there enough? There are not enough yellow Pikmin for this. Let's not have any idle Pikmin right now. Let's just get all these Pikmin sort of doing something. Okay. Fortunately, we got a bunch of nectar figured out, so we can get these Pikmin running fast, as long as we get them sort of bunched up. You know what? I'll take that. That's good. All of them got it, so I can't complain. The sort of displacement I have of all my Pikmin may be a little bit concerning to some, but I just have to get all these Pikmin ready to do a bunch of things at once. The first one in particular is this, which is a jar for Vlasic pickles, and what's going to happen is that I only need these guys to bring it down. And once it's down, I'll have red Pikmin carry it, because I need these yellow Pikmin to be tearing down an electric gate to get to the second cave of this day. I also completely just skipped over that, my bad. Basically, that's Ultra Bitter, an Ultra Bitter Essence, and this Ultra Bitter Essence needs more specimens. So we just got a bunch of these berries back to the ship, and we will eventually have enough to get a bit of Ultra Bitter spray. And just like that, we have 10 results. Or 10 specimens, so that we have 1 drop of spray. Captain Olimar, I have completed my research on the purple berries you discovered. Behold, the Ultra Bitter spray. It's untested, but I believe it will be highly effective. Approach enemies and press up on the D-pad to spray them. When necessary, I can produce 1 bottle of spray from 10 berries. Press start/pause to contact me and confirm your berry count. Look at L on the radar screen. And so it is. Now we have both of the sprays that are in this game. Okay, that should be good. Sometimes these Pikmin just get caught on the wrong side. And you have to kind of help them out a little bit. You will run into that problem if you press both of them, or if you press them sort of more in the middle. Okay, while all this is going on, we have a bunch of flower yellows ready. And I'm just gonna do Ultra Spicy Spray, and that should boost their damage high enough to get that done quickly. And if I have my timing correct, by the time I get back to base camp, I should have both of these treasures back in base. So the first one is the Gherkin Gate. It is a jar lid for Vlasic pickles, and it is obviously changed in the Switch version. If we get some flower white Pikmin on there, it should go a little bit faster. Also pluck these Pikmin. How's this looking? It's almost done already. Using the Ultra Spicy Spray really helped in that regard. Impediment Scourge. It's a can opener. I don't remember what it was in the original. Alright, all of these Pikmin are good to go. So we will be able to get the Electric Gate down in time, but as you can no doubt tell, I'm kind of encumbered by a lot of Leaf Pikmin. So by the time I get to the gate, it'll probably nearly be sunset, and I won't be able to do much else with the day. But fortunately, I don't want to go for those nectars, because if I try to swarm into them, all my Pikmin might fall off. So I'm just going to use these ones nearby because it's not that far away. Now, ideally, we could try to get one more puzzle done to get another system ready, or get another cave ready. But unfortunately, I think I'm too short on time to really make any headway in that regard. So we'll just go with the second cave. Interesting. My odor detectors are reacting. A strong scent wafts from that hole. I am a machine, so rating sense is beyond me, but your faces tell me all I need to know. You are both drooling. I wish, just once, I could feel what it is like to drool. I don't know if you want to really deal with that, actually. It's a lot. Alright, the Glutton's Kitchen. There are only electrical hazards in this one, but that's why we brought our yellow Pikmin with us. And this time we are going in with a squad of 100 because we could not mitigate. We could not mitigate squad just management in time to get to this cave. It's almost sunset. And that means that this cave has to be done. Alright, here is a new theme. I don't think I mentioned the other new theme that was in here, but for sure this is a new theme. That's a lot of bull bears. That's a lot of bull bears. So these are, as you heard me say, these are dwarf bull bears. They have a heightened sense of smell, so they can detect you from further away. And they also eat faster. So they are incredibly spooky to take, like, huge groups in. I'm really fortunate. I accidentally threw that Pikmin really far away, so I'm glad that I was able to get it back. Okay. That's done. I will not be able to hit that bull bear, but I can at least get this. Oh, there's that same side thing. Just look out for any long objects like that. They tend to do that. Well, there was not a whole lot I could do about that, unfortunately. I could have brought yellow Pikmin in. But weirdly enough, that one Pikmin seems to have it pretty on point. I'm gonna try to go for as few deaths as possible in this playthrough, but again, that number's gonna skyrocket. That number's gonna skyrocket so fast. Only treasure on the floor. Now all we have are these bull bears to turn in. This is supposed to be like more of a challenge cave for yellow Pikmin, but since they don't really dictate what Pikmin you can take in, except for one, they don't really care if you bring in a bunch of red Pikmin. And some of these floors are kind of structured more for being able to throw a high flying Pikmin, like the yellow Pikmin. And red Pikmin are just better in fights. There are instances where purple Pikmin are inherently better, and yellow Pikmin are better, but for, like, those specific scenarios, it's pretty good to just have reds. And the same kind of applies to here. I'm actually going to need reds and yellows. Just because there are a couple of treasures lying around here that are really high up, like this one. For this jar of, or for this bottle of Yoo-Hoo Cola. And if you don't know what Yoo-Hoo is, we don't have to worry about these. We do have to worry about that. These are breadbug nests. We saw some breadbugs traveling around earlier, but this enemy is an enemy that we fought in the Awakening Wood, and I didn't drop the name of it. It is called a cloaking burrow knit. And we will be seeing it multiple times. This isn't just the only time we see it in, you know, Awakening Wood and whatnot. They're everywhere. But, yeah, Yoo-Hoo Cola is like this chocolate drink, like this chocolate soda or whatever. And it's super weird and bizarre, but it does have a following, much like a lot of other things. So, interestingly enough, we will have to deal with breadbugs. And breadbugs go for whatever sort of corpses or treasures are lying on the ground, and will take them. The reason I didn't leave the male shear grubs for the breadbug to take was because you need to exceed its carrying limit by quite a bit. So, for instance, this cloaking Baronet, I'm not going to be able to get this treasure transported until well after, like, the halfway point. So, almost 50% more than what is necessary to pick it up, and it'll start getting dragged back. And that just goes for just about everything. There is one way to beat a breadbug, other than dragging it all the way back to the treasure ship, and it is by stomping on it. And when there are no more treasures or corpses on the field to get, this is really the only way that you can sort of beat up breadbugs. So I'm just gonna keep my cursor here, and when it does take damage and sort of flop over like that, I just throw once it starts getting back up. And that's roughly the timing necessary, because it has a little bit of invincibility when it gets back up. And you have to wait on it to get that pounce. But we saw a breadbug take a treasure into its hole, and the only way to get that treasure back out is by defeating the breadbug. Which means that we have to sort of do this setup and get this breadbug taken down. And I don't want to use purple Pikmin because it takes longer for them to get back up, because the stun frame sort of happens. But that should be good. Yeah. Now we can take this treasure back, take this breadbug back. And I think these were the only treasures? Was the bottle cap and this like sweet roll or cinnamon roll? But I guess I can go scouting around and see. Let them just take all these corpses back. Extra money. It's called blood money for a reason, okay? And you probably haven't been paying attention to how much like monster corpses give money, but it is starting to slowly climb because the value of creatures is going up. Obviously, these smaller enemies like the shear grubs or the shear wigs or anything of that notion only give you about maybe 1 Poco each. But breadbugs give you 3. So about the same as, you know, as a Bulborb or a Bulbear. But it adds up. It does very much add up. I just wanted to get that little bit of extra Poco before going deeper. So I think Glutton's Kitchen is one of the longer caves that you'll experience in the early game. And I say early game because there's a point where the game completely opens up, and we're almost at that point. Day 5, I'd say, is really where you start seeing what you can do in the game, but it takes a little while to get there. Okay, just because of my luck from Day 3, I'm going to start opening eggs with purple Pikmin. So, the first things I noted, there are a lot of anode beetles around, and some bread bugs. So immediately, my first instinct is to get an anode beetle for a corpse, so that I can get this bread bug back. But this anode beetle's in a weird place. That would be a yellow candy pop bud. Don't have to worry about that right now. What's interesting is that you're gonna see this bread bug like immediately change course to go to the nearest corpse that it can collect. So it's already course corrected to this anode beetle. Oh, that's actually dangerous. So if there's a Pikmin carrying an object like that, when the bread bug goes in, I think your Pikmin are killed if it's not exceeding the weight. So we have to be, like, actually extremely careful of that. So those bread bugs aren't coming out anytime soon. We can clear these electrical hazards while we're at it. I can kill some more anode beetles to try to get these guys figured out. Or I could try to hit them, but with yellow Pikmin it gets a little weird. So I'm just gonna go with the first option. Oh, that's bad news. That's a spiky blowhog, and they can be another annoying experience. So as you can no doubt tell, you can really throw Pikmin in this game. Okay, that bread bug's being taken back now. Now it's not. Okay, this puffy blowhog needs to go. And I don't want to use my ultra bitter spray on it. Oh, okay, now I definitely need to get this... Now I definitely need to get this bread bug. Okay, it's going for that one. Okay, that one... I just need to swarm this one. There we go. Narrowly avoided. But we need to get these bread bugs eliminated, otherwise we're not going to get these treasures. And since these are going to be, like, on the verge of alive, I can use purple Pikmin to finish the job. So yeah, these episodes are gonna feel a lot more slow and methodical, probably, by comparison of the first couple of episodes. Yeah, that should do. That'll more than do. I just hope they don't get hit by the hitbox. Dismissing there was a really stupid idea. I don't know what I was thinking. I just wanted to get to my yellow Pikmin as soon as possible. And I potentially could have made my white Pikmin idle into a currently active electricity hazard. Hindsight's funny. Okay. Before I take these corpses back, I'm gonna take... No, wait, maybe I don't have to, actually. We'll see if these treasures are it. The Director of Destiny. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh no, we're done, okay. Then let's just get these corpses back. So if you needed more yellow Pikmin, then you can just make more here if you desperately needed more. But I think our numbers going out of day 4 are pretty good as they are, so I don't think they need much adjusting. Obviously, it would be better to have more yellows, but given how quickly we had to go through the Perplexing Pool's, like, first half, I'll take it. I'll take it. Ba-ba. Alright, what next? What do you got for me? More electrical hazards? Because that wouldn't surprise me. Lots of bull bears. Bull bears, that's actually horrifying. Bull bears. So, the reason Yep, no, I knew. That is just a bull bear. A spotty bull bear. I'm gonna use Ultra Bitter. Just because these guys are spooky. Most impressive. This fierce beast became as hard as stone in a mere instant. The Ultra Bitter extract seems to have a side effect that stops beasts in their tracks. So yeah, we got a solid 8 seconds of this monster can't do anything, where we can just throw as many Pikmin as possible at it. But as you can tell, even with a Bitter Spray, that thing can destroy you. Oh, and it also can revive itself. So, you know, that's a fun aside. Here is our next bottle cap for Squirt Grapefruit Juice. Oh, no. We definitely want you to return to the ship. Absolutely. Sorry. There are a lot of dwarf Bulborbs. As long as our main ranks don't get killed, I'm fine with it. I'm actually extremely glad that worked out. Let's get them back over here and make sure that these guys are not walking into any other enemies. Doesn't seem like it. Here's another treasure that needs yellow Pikmin. And we're just gonna scope around and see what else is here. I think there's only the 3 treasures on this floor, but we'll see. The Invigorator. Yes, a coffee mug. On brand here, honestly. So the sweets collection of items, like that little treat in a little paper wrap, they tend to be the least valuable treasures in the game, with a couple of exceptions. Which is sort of interesting. But I can't complain. These truffles look lovely. White goodness. I'm gonna get rid of this one because I'm a perfectionist. Okay, that's done, and the hole's over here. I want to say that we're almost done. We're at sub-level 5, or at sub-level 4, and we're going to sub-level 5, which I think is the last one. But it's also the one with the most inherent threat to our current group. So we'll find out when we get there. I think it'll be a fun experiment for everyone to see. Ba-da-ba-da. Yep, here we are. Sub-level 5 is big. It's scary. And it's also full of a new enemy type that we haven't seen yet. Oh, that's a horrible place to be. So this is the cannon beetle larva. And if you couldn't tell by how excited I was that these things were going to be here in this floor, these things can immediately crush your Pikmin by throwing giant boulders. The only real salvation that the cannon beetle larva presents to you is that when Pikmin are launched away, they will immediately start swarming back to the cannon beetle larva, and in most instances will be crushed. Except for this particular instance, you have a very high survival rate just because they're on a raised platform that you can sort of hide under. The boulder will ramp over your Pikmin. It's not that scary. So now we have a fully established safe point. And now I'm going to take my smaller numbers with me because there are a lot of small little grabby guys, like these fellows, right next to where cannon beetle larva will spawn. So it can be extremely spooky to walk around here with your whole squad. Because there's like, yeah, there's this location. And you can't directly reach... Uh-oh. Well, there's more my types. So, because of these raised platforms, your Pikmin have a much higher chance of survival, but in literally any other environment where these cannon beetle larvae exist, it is horrifying. It is absolutely terrifying on any front to deal with this cannon beetle larva. And yeah, there's the other one. I knew that there was a second one. So I have to very carefully eliminate these dwarf bull bears so I can get a chance at this cannon beetle larva. Or I could hit it. And one of my Pikmin. Yeah. Now I need to check here. Okay, there's nothing here. So I think we're safe. I think we're safe from cannon beetle larva. We are definitely safe from cannon beetle larva. So now the cleanup crew shows up. This should be 7, 3, 3. Switch over to yellows. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and grab some reds. 7, 3. That's 8, but that's fine. Grab the party hat. Pay attention to the egg falling from the ceiling. This will be on the quiz. The antenna treasure will arrive a little bit late, just because it's being carried by less Pikmin than is necessary. Even though it's currently being carried by Pikmin that can carry 10 times that weight, it still suffers from the reduced movement speed, because purple Pikmin are carrying it. So, we got that treasure and that treasure. I'm trying to think on if there's anything left. I guess we'll see when we get there. We're now halfway done. We got the boom cone. Little party favor. Little party popper. And more importantly, we got an antenna for someone's TV. The sulking antenna. Aren't we all? Okay, we're done on this floor. On to the next one. Alright, and just when you thought it was over, it's time for Sub-Level 6. Sub-Level 6 is a fun and interesting experience because it is surrounded by electrical hazards. So before anything, these bread bugs are going to take all of these treasures on the opposite end of the screen, and we have to lure them out with these anode beetles. You'll see that there is one slightly larger bread bug. And it's currently traveling around doing its thing. I'm gonna try to turn around this, I'm gonna try to turn around that thing, that donut. And also turn around that anode beetle. So yeah, anode beetles, kind of good to have a lot of yellow Pikmin for. I'm not gonna lie. The Sweet Dreamer. Yeah, I kind of figured that I would get some white Pikmin in this. So, unlike the other bread bugs that we had to deal with earlier, on a regular basis, the giant bread bug can't be stomped on like its neighbors. So we have to kill it twice. Or we have to hit it twice with getting gathered by this stuff. It also dropped a very important treasure for us. Processing. How bizarre. An item appears to have fallen out of that freakish creature. It must have been a greedy beast to swallow something like this. Well, that is going to be an important treasure in a little bit. But right now we have a bread bug that is about to grab yet another treasure off of the field. Unless we can somehow trick it to grab something else. It currently seems to be very aloof. I don't know how to feel about that. I should probably be paying attention to the things that are right next to me that could literally eviscerate any Pikmin that stands near it other than yellows. But I don't have to worry about that right now. Is that enough? Now it's enough. And 1, 2, 3. Bread bug's down, and now we can get this treasure in. The dream material. This intriguing material does not conduct electricity. It is far more advanced than the material I was researching. How frustrating. A spacesuit made from this wonder alloy would insulate the wearer from electric shocks. Excellent. This new material has allowed me to complete my anti-electric fire. It is my own invention, with only the smallest iota of outside inspiration. I have reconfigured your suits with this new material. They will now protect you from electricity. But they won't protect your Pikmin from electricity. So it's a hollow victory. Okay. Now that we've eliminated most of the electrical hazards, we can get the rest of the treasure that we missed. Namely this very nice breakfast, admittedly. Just ham and an egg. Meat of champions. Yeah, that's what we're calling it. No, my tights, but I'm not complaining. Alright, let's get our yellow Pikmin up front so that I can get them thrown at this electric hazard. This egg has certainly aged the worst out of all of these models, I feel. That... Oh. Okay, fine. That's on me. That's on me. No one to blame but myself on that one. But at least we're done with treasures. That's the thing about the electrical hazards, is that you throw a Pikmin at it that isn't yellow, and you immediately know. You know it's not coming back. But it hurts the most that it's a purple Pikmin, because we need purple Pikmin. That's a crying shame, but that's okay. That's Pikmin 2. That sometimes just happens. So, we left the Perplexing pool towards the end of sundown, and I'm gonna see what I can get away with in that short span of time to hopefully maybe mitigate what needs to be done the next time I show up here. So we'll see what I can even do. I'm gonna start by putting all of our not yellow Pikmin away. and we're just gonna see what we can do. As long as these Pikmin are in our group by the end of the day, then we can hopefully get away with doing a little bit of bridge work. That's good enough. I'll take it. It could have been a lot worse. I'm not too happy with the amount of losses we had, but 8 is not... I mean, 10. 10 Pikmin. 10 Pikmin is not terrible. Just 10 Pikmin in a day, not the most terrible of numbers. Especially with how brutal Perplexing Pool Day 1 is. Just having that fiery Bullblax immediately before a poison white Bramblegate is just really difficult to work around. And some of these caves are just insane. But at the very least, we are well over halfway done. Yeah, I lost... I mean, I definitely had to lose red Pikmin just because I was growing purples. But yeah, we lost 13 Pikmin today. You're my hero. You've erased half of our debt. Still, things have become a bit dangerous, so I'm going into hiding. Focus on work and don't slack off. Yeah, while the president's away, the captains collect a lot of treasures for a capitalist agenda. So, that's it for this episode of Pikmin 2. A lot happened. I know a lot happened. Trust me. You don't just walk past the fact that we collected 27 treasures in a day. But it's gonna be a lot faster from here on out. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, because tomorrow, we're not continuing the Perplexing Pool because we don't have what's necessary. We're going back to the Awakening Wood to complete a certain electric gate and claim our final Pikmin type. And then, it's go time. Until next time, I've been Nekita Esperon, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next episode.